Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Michelle Crawford, and this is Curious Coaching. Today, I want to welcome you, my audience, to meet one of my closest clients, friends, customers, students, you name it, cannabis ladies in the industry and in the world. Not really a cannabis lady, but somebody who I met through Cannabis Coaching Institute, who I love dearly. And her name is Alex Mitchell. Alex, would you mind introducing yourself a little bit more for the people?
Sure. Thank you, Michelle, for inviting me on today. I am a cannabis person. I am a cannabis
Yes.
woman. I did attend Cannabis Coaching Institute, and that's where I met Michelle. But currently, I'm a life and business coach, and you can find me at Alex Mitchell Coaching. And the thing that I bring to the table is all this knowledge about plant medicine to you, even if you're wanting coaching around your life and your business. So keep me in mind. I am super excited to be here to talk about Michelle's course because it is life-changing. And yeah, I just have so much to share about it. So
We should
bring them
probably
on.
just, get into it, since you really do have a lot to share about it. Something I want to say about Alex and her special talents is just she's a joy to have in class. She's a joy to have as a client. And I think a joy to work with in general. So if you are interested in that kind of coaching, go there. I think that what I appreciate you bringing Alex into my business a lot is other people. You have been one of the most productive affiliate type people that you can have in my program so far, in the young life of my program. And so, before we get into that, let's get a little bit more into just some details about you. Where are you coming to us from today?
I am coming to you from the lovely and legal Seattle, Washington. So I love living in a state where cannabis is legal. It makes it so accessible. And if you were like me and you use it for medicine, it's really great to have that sort of setup where I have access. So that's really, I think, an important piece about kind of where you live. If you don't live somewhere that there's access, I'm really sorry for the barriers that you will face.
I am too. And let's just go ahead and give some plugs to Americans for Safe Access and NORML if you want to learn how to advocate for yourself in a legal, legislative way to have that access I am coming at you from Northern California, San Jose to be specific. We have that same ability here. And I do wish it for everybody, not just in the United States, but after my recent trip to the Philippines, in the world, basically globally. And I'm happy to see that we are trending upwards. So, if it isn't now, I'm sorry that you have to be so patient, but definitely be part of the change for the better, for legalizing cannabis globally. Well, before we started this call, when Alex and I were just chit-chatting before doing our recording, she's like, don't forget to ask me about my recent time when my canna pantry came in handy. So I would love for you to tell that story, Alex.
I would love to. So it was just last week. I was ran out. I ran out of something I call a multi-purpose edible, otherwise known as a suppository. You can do everything with them. So the key thing is they're cocoa butter and cannabis. And so you can eat them, you can insert them, you can do whatever. But I ran out and I was like, oh, I forgot to make them, a few days ago when I remembered that I was almost out. So at 9:30 p.m., went to my canna pantry, grabbed what I needed, and I had suppositories in the refrigerator firming up within, say, maybe 20 minutes.
My God.
And it was great. And during the time that they were solidifying in the refrigerator, I also made cannabis tinctures for my two dogs, who are also part of the cannabis lifestyle, and they love their cannabis. So I made that for them too. And so without a canna pantry, it would have been too much to do at 9:30 p.m. when I need that edible to be able to sleep, because I use it medicinally for sleep a lot. And yeah, I was super happy that I was able to just make that. And if I didn't have a canna pantry, I would just be lost. Like, I can remember what that was like before I had a canna pantry, what that was like. And you're like, oh my God, it's like a huge ordeal to make all of this. So this idea of the canna pantry and how you keep yourself stocked is a winner. And I think out of everything I've learned from you, well, there's a lot I've learned from you. There's a lot I've learned from Michelle, you guys, but that is one of the most valuable things that you get out of Homemade Health and going through the course, is this ability to go, oh, this is a different way of thinking about it, and I can be ready. And if my friend, says, do you have anything? And I don't have it, if I have a can of pantry, I can quickly make it. So I think that, to me is one of the key takeaways for people once they go through your course, is that ability.
The empowering ability
Yeah.
that Canna Pantries give you. Canna Pantries is among the first lessons that come into the class. And it's just basically setting yourself up for success and for the ability to, like Alex mentioned, do make your medicine that you need, because you do run out, you use it. I encourage everybody to use this daily. We should probably talk about that next. So if you're using cannabis daily as a supplement, as a vitamin, as a lifestyle, as a medicine, you do run out, especially if you DIY it all yourself, which is why there's an emphasis in my program on being prepared, on knowing what to make and not really questioning it a lot. You know what I mean? Like the formulas and what you make. You end up with a repertoire of basically like every kind of homemade remedy that you might need, and it's up to you to figure out like creatively how to use it. And a lot of us are coming to this, like one of the things I'm most famous for teaching people is the suppositories that are made of cocoa butter, right? And in times of desperation, these multi-cannabinoid suppositories are also edibles, and they're also topicals. And so they're like, what is that special knife? Like a Swiss Army knife of a cannabis like
Yes.
DIY. You can survive on these little things, which is great. We teach tinctures, we teach other topicals, we teach how to make concentrates, which all kind of comes around in a full circle. But man, oh man, when you get into that like survival mode of like, I need this, and I only have so much time and energy, if you're ill, if you're just busy, if it's late, I love this story, and I have been this story, Alex.
I know.
If you too are like, I wish I could be a DIYer. It's like wanting to cook all your own dinners, like sometimes it's just your fridge is empty and you don't know what to make, and you're just standing there, and that's when DoorDash happens, right? So I understand. Let's talk about, how many times have you taken Homemade Health, Alex?
Well, it depends on how you count it, because I was
Okay.
in your initial iteration of just the tinctures class.
Yes.
And then I was lucky enough to get to take the initial version of Homemade Health. So that's at least twice. Maybe
That's
there was a
twice,
third
yeah.
time.
I
And
did give it
then-
a third time, yeah.
Can I talk about your special club?
Yes, please.
And then, because I am a student of yours, I am part of Miracle Makers Club, which means I'm going to be in your course again, because I was an original person who already has been through the course, right? So I get to, as part of the Miracle Makers Club, because I am a previous course owner, I get to retake it again, which I find that super useful to go through, because I always learn something new. So if you really think about it, I've taken the tinctures portion twice, and I've learned new things each time.
Yeah.
And I heard you guys the first time, I think I've done this maybe 3 times. I don't know.
I don't think so, but
At some point you guys were talking about making concentrates, and I was like, oh, I could never do that. I can't do that.
Can't do it.
I now own an extract craft
Yes.
Turbo, and I make all of my own concentrates out of flower that I grow and or purchase, because I do purchase some. I do like to purchase my CBD and CBG, because it's very, in the US, if you're in the US, it's and you aren't in certain states, I can get that part delivered to me mail order, because it's not intoxicating. And so I can devote my time and my energy of growing to growing the THC that I need for the year, versus trying to grow everything. So it's really been great. So to make a concentrate, though, I really was intimidated. I thought I could never do that. And when I first got the box, it took me like, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks to even open the box. But everybody was doing it in the course, and Michelle was supporting us. And then finally she did a little walkthrough of like, here's how you do it, you guys. And that really did bring my anxiety level down, and I was able to do it. And you helped me, which I'm very thankful for, troubleshoot, because I did have some issues with my Source Turbo that turned out were kind of user error in some ways. There's user error, and then there's warped filters. but you helped me troubleshoot that for quite a while of like, how do we make this work? And so I think that is an incredibly valuable part of becoming part of that, the homemade health community, I guess that you call it,
Yes.
because we all help each other. You were not the only person who helped me troubleshoot. There were many others contributing. I think it was one of the longest threads in the community that you host, because
Yes.
we were all trying to figure out what's wrong. Why is this not
Yes.
working? And I'm down at sea level, which is different from you. You're
Yes.
down far, but you're not down as far as I am. So it was great to see the community come together. And I think that's another key part for me. If I were considering taking this course, the community that you get into and the people that you meet are just phenomenal. And you really get to know people. And you make friends and you learn things about them. And, you know, once you've done the course, or even if you don't do the course, I don't know exactly how Michelle's Miracle Makers Club works. So maybe that's a question
I'll
for
tell
her.
you, yeah.
But, you know, it's fabulous to be in the Miracle Makers Club with people that I've been in the course with. And I look forward to welcoming in some new people too. I
Right?
love my people who are in
I
there.
know, me too.
There's
Like,
always space for more people with us, you know?
yes, yes. I don't think the new people, I'm like, oh, any new people who are like intimidated, or I don't want to meet a bunch of like cannabis health coach educator people and who are just gonna be what's the word? I think some people naturally assume that if somebody knows something more than you, they're going to try to lord it over you in some way or be expert, and you're not. That's not the spirit that we are working in at all in this community. And so it's been coming up in these testimonial interviews, Alex, a little bit about how the community is a big facet of this gem of an experience. I mean, of course, I'm going to teach you how to make cannabis remedies. That's the whole course. But how does one get motivated to do that? You even said it yourself. It was so inspiring. Everyone around me was doing it. It's like drugs in all the best ways. Everybody's doing it. You can do it too, but in a good way, in a way that helps you overcome your intimidations and things that are holding you back. And so I think that, like, you know, you've been with me for a few classes, switching from like kind of emphasizing the more social aspects of the class instead of the more like, for me as the instructor, I was always like lecturing at you guys and like, let's do Q&A. And then I realized, you know, what's really getting people through this is seeing their other friends doing it, and seeing other people doing it, they have to become friends. So how do I help you guys become friends? You know what I mean? And then we pivoted towards that. So, and it was beautiful. I think that for me as the instructor, when I see people helping each other out in the Slack group, that's great. That's perfect. I mean, that's, and somebody else pointed out, that's something that has helped them to become more confident about sharing, you know, make, take, share out in public when they're talking about their projects. Like, having gone through my class, and you know how we have the intro where we talk to each other, make friends, catch up, you know, get to know each other better in the beginning with breakout groups. And then we move into the make, take, share portion where we like share our projects. You have to speak about your project. And so it kind of helps you practice talking about how I DIY, how I make medicine, how I do the little processes, what I use. And then you can't help but want to talk to other people. Is that happening in your community? Are other people like, yeah, Alex, I got you.
Yeah.
I've heard your story.
Yeah. I mean, it is. That piece of community is just invaluable. And I think that, you know, because I know that we're here talking about homemade health coming up. And I think, you know, joining that community, everybody is so welcoming. And even if you're an introvert and you don't like to necessarily interact that much, because we have a few who are there and they don't speak a whole lot, but when they speak, we're all really focused on them. But I think what I see in their faces is they really enjoy being in community with us and listening, even if they don't speak up a lot, because they're hearing so much, and you always learn something. Yeah. So we didn't really touch on I'm interviewing you now. We didn't really touch on Miracle Makers Club, because I love Miracle Makers Club, and I like kind of stumbled because I couldn't remember. Can you join Miracle Makers Club even if you've never taken the course, or do you need to take the course first?
You can, you can. Oh, let's talk about it. So before we get into more questions for Alex, which we will get back to, but what do we have at Kind of Curious Coaching? We have basically two classes. The first one is homemade health, which is what, Alex is here to talk about her homemade health experience. But it just turns into Miracle Makers Club. So Miracle Makers Club is a monthly meeting that I hold that's open to all. It costs money. You can pay, it costs $300 a year, which is $25 a month if you do a monthly payment. And we have a monthly meeting where you can join us for a discussion around cannabis. And we have, like I said, these breakout groups. So you really get intimate with people. It's not just like I'm lecturing at you. You're making friends with other cannabis people around the country and the world. So it's networking in a certain way and friendship, and getting more intimate about our plant medicine journeys with each other, which makes it feel more normal and accepted. The reason why Miracle Makers was born is because my homemade health students said, well, now that we're done with homemade health, we need to stay here. How can we stay here? Michelle, make us something so that we can stay. So I did. I made Miracle Makers Club because everybody is making miracles with this medicine. It's real and true. And the stories never stop. And I wanted a forum for that. And you guys demanded it, basically. So I created it. And if you buy homemade health today, you can join Miracle Makers Club afterward, which will give you what Alex is talking about. It's a special privilege of homemade health students to, when they join Miracle Makers after they've been through homemade health, they get to stay with the program for just like a much lower price. And you can join the live classes that I give 3 times a year, with a Miracle Makers Club membership. However, if you've never been in homemade health, you can still join Miracle Makers Club, but you don't get that perk. You know what I mean? Only graduates of homemade health get that perk.
So someone can become part of Miracle Makers Club if they want to be kind of become part of the community. Maybe they're not ready to go through the homemade health.
Maybe they don't want to learn all this DIY stuff.
Or they don't want to DIY, but they want a great supportive community where they can talk about cannabis, which
correct.
Is what we do. And I think what I love is in those meetings too, I always learn something, not just about my other community members, but it's a great forum for us to come in and ask questions. From,
for example,
things we're making
in February, we're doing Better Sex with Cannabis, which is something I'm kind of famous for, which is not available other places. And so I'm going to give everybody access to my lecture that's been recorded. We're going to talk about it. And, we're going to have maybe some special Galentine's little activities, and it's really fun. So I do see Miracle Makers Club as both an intro to the whole Kind of Curious Coaching world, and it's like a little graduate gift for my homemade health students who want to stick around, which is a lot of people.
Yes.
And I did it as a Black Friday sale last year, so it wasn't even $300. It was only $200. And so like a dozen people totally bought it. So if you join Homemade Health now, you'll be with us for the whole year, and then Black Friday, $200, and bam, you're going to be in there for the next year. And because making medicine is an ongoing task, an ongoing thing, and an evolution for people, I have suddenly realized the value. It's not just a course that you take one time. It's an ongoing community that you want to be part of. And what do we do in this community? We make our own medicine with cannabis and other herbs, right?
Well, and you're so true, because as I look at, there's an upcoming that we're here talking about, homemade health coming through. Well, that's on my calendar February. Because it helps me also make my medicine, right? It's like, oh, okay, it's gonna actually, for me, it's gonna be pretty good timing, because I'll need to make again from the concentrates I've already made. And then by the time you get to concentrates, it'll be time for me to be making concentrates again. So I'll go through that again and have the support, because I made a lot of concentrates. So I've not done it that many times yet. So I find it personally very comforting that I know that I can just go back into the course, go through that portion again, even with you, with the live, with everybody else, and just hear it all again, because it does take repetition to get it down and figure out all the little things. And so I love that piece. I love that piece.
Thank you so much. Yeah, after my experience as a grad mentor at CCI, Cannabis Coaching Institute, where we met, that, there's a lot of turbulence in people's lives. Come on. It's a 6-month program. That's a long commitment, and things happen. And we just get a lot of requests for time extensions. And I kind of was in the development of my own program, you know what, this is the kind of thing, it's repetitive anyway. We're just trying to make it fun and make it stick, you know? So let's just do it again and again and make it easy for people to be a part of it the whole time. Speaking of making people be a part of it, Alex, you are so special to me. When you were a homemade health student, you were the one who brought in like the most other people. So I want to hear the inside scoop on like your thinking around, well, this is for me. And then when you're recommending it to others, like what kind of things were going through your mind when you see other people and you're like, you're perfect for this?
Well, I brought people in that I already knew. So I just thought about it. It was such a great experience for me. I'm like, I have to share this because we are make, take, share, right? I'm like, I
Yeah.
have to share this experience. So I reached out to some people and said, I've done this thing and I really think that you would be interested. What do you think? And then I also said to them, I'll be in there with you and you can ask me questions, which I think lowered the barrier for them too. And they had a great time, both of them.
Yeah.
Came in. And so I think as you are thinking about who can you share this with, if you have a best friend in your city and you take it both at the same time,
Yeah.
it's amazing to do it with other people. So I think that round where I did it with friends,
Yes.
not that the people from the course aren't my friends too, but these were like
Outside
in-person friends, right?
In-person
Local
friends,
to
yeah.
me. It was great. And we shared and we did things and, we're able to see each other and taste each other's stuff. And it was amazing. So I just think as you're thinking about sharing this or like you're considering it, but maybe it feels intimidating to do it by yourself. It's so
Bring a
much fun to do
friend.
it with somebody with a friend thing. So it's always worth asking people, hey, would you be interested in this? And it really is a DIYer, right? It's like if you know a little bit about cannabis and you aren't sure what to do, this is a great class. If you're pretty experienced with cannabis, but you only know it from one aspect, this is another great course for you, right? It
Yes.
says it speaks to so many different people. And when I'm thinking about inviting people, that's what I'm looking at. Because both people that I invited had experience with cannabis, but they
Absolutely.
didn't actually realize, and I think both of them would be fine with me saying this, they didn't actually know the breadth of what cannabis has. And so
Very few people do, right, Alex?
yeah, you also learn that in this course because there is education about what these things are. I think you're a fabulous educator. And so you do start to understand some of this of like, oh, there's a lot here. And like, they hadn't realized that they could make their own mix of maybe what they were smoking or vaping of like, oh, you mean I could take THC flower and CBD flower and put them together on my own? And it's like
on my own without a dispensary product.
Yeah.
Or how to break down a dispensary product, because as a Californian, most of my things that I'm teaching you are kind of like industry inspirations in a lot of ways. And so like you see me in lectures like say, well, here's my inspo product and here's another inspo product. And then I just kind of whoosh them together with my DIY skills that I'm giving to you. So I think that's really useful for people, especially in emerging states, you know what I mean? Where the market, shopping the market's very new to them.
And I want to say, this just like came into my head. I also want to say, if you are in a market where THC is not legal yet, there is a lot that you can learn in this course just for processing your own CBD and CBG, which are legal. So
yes,
don't think that this course isn't for you if you don't have access to THC, because you're going to learn so much. And then hopefully when your state becomes legal too, then you're already equipped to move into that next piece of like adding in THC to the.
That's what I believe too. I think that it's just perfect timing for people. I think it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Our success is inevitable. But yes, if you are in a prohibited, THC state or limited access to THC, plenty of things we can do with CBD and CBG. You probably have no idea. Another thing I like about your group is that I believe someone had a dietary restriction, not the only one either.
Yes.
Not the only one in class at all. But that is a huge reason why people come in and want to learn to DIY, because they love, edibles or whatever they're trying to make. They love cannabis. They're definitely feeling good from it. They're definitely feeling good effects, but they want to make sure that their dietary restrictions and allergies are being respected by the products. And so for some people, there's too much risk in any kind of processed product, right? And homemade is just the only way.
Yeah. And it does give you that fine control. And then the thing, one of the things along that same vein that I really love is once I learned to make concentrates and had a realization during one of our meetings of, wait a second, I can make a concentrate that's exactly the ratios of cannabinoids that I want.
Yes.
Mind blowing.
Ah!
And so that's what I do now is my concentrates are not single cannabinoid concentrates. I just make my medicine that I take. I just make a batch of concentrate for that. And then I'm able to store it, takes up a lot less space. And then when, just like the 9:30 at night, when I wanted to make suppositories, I was able to grab my concentrates and do that versus having to go through the whole process. So I just think that there's so many things that this brings for people, that convenience part and knowing exactly what is in it. And when you want to make, if you're gluten intolerant and you want to make, you know, a brownie for an edible to help you sleep, you're able to do it in your own house because you can process all of your own cannabis yourself.
I just finally made like my first cannabis brownies. Should I tell the world?
Goodness.
I made cookies and brownies. I know, like, you guys, I don't, all the things I teach you, everything I know, but cookies and brownies are not a huge part of my repertoire at all, at all. So yeah, I'm experimenting because some people want me to make some videos, and so I will. My neighbors are really happy, I'll tell you that. I'm sleeping better than ever. If
you're watching this and you have a really great recipe you'd like to share with Michelle, I'm sure her contact info is down here. Send it to her.
I won't lie though, you'll appreciate this because you know how the class is 10 weeks. The class is given live 3 times a year, starting in February, and again in the spring, and again in the fall. And then in the summer, we take time off and I have a Black Friday sale. You know, the holidays come, it's hectic. Summer to Christmas, it's just like, forget about it. You know what I mean? People have lives. Good luck, you know. But yeah, like making things and taking things is just and sharing about it. It's everything. It's everything. I don't know. Anyway, your experience when we talked about this after the tinctures class was like, wow, multi-cannabinoid formulation is really lifting me, is really changing my health. Can you speak on that a little bit? Tell a story about
Sure. That. And my evolution of what that looks like. So
I know it's been time now.
It has. It's been a while, but you know, it really was. I when I came into your sphere, I really was on a single cannabinoid kind of trek, right? That was the track I was on. I didn't really know too much. And so when you suggested, oh, if you added these other cannabinoids in, let's see how that feels. I was a coaching client at the time. It was amazing. And it really did change. It was like, oh, I can feel a lot better on this. And I am very proud of my evolution with how I think about my cannabis tinctures. And I recently went to the doctor and in fact, just saw her yesterday, but I filled out all this paperwork ahead of time. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? Cannabis is going under supplements because that's how I view it. It is something that I take as part of my, you know, routine to remain healthy. And it has helped me with mood. She also, in the midst of going through all of this with me, couldn't tell from my hair, I am a little older and I am entering, you know, the menopause years, the perimenopause area. And she and I were talking through it. And at the end of my appointment, she said, you know, I'm not going to recommend anything else for you because it sounds like with cannabis, you have your menopause symptoms under control. And she said, if that changes, let me know.
Yeah. What? I'm sorry. It seems like with cannabis, you've got your menopause symptoms under control. Hello, perimenopausal women out there. Anybody care about that? Anybody? You know, I mean, God.
I mean, I don't have, and I have had them. So I think my evolution with treating that, not even treating, like really embodying that, hey, cannabis is a supplement for me. It really is helping. It it's not just mood, it's lots of things. And I noticed because, sometimes I do take a break from cannabis because I don't want to develop too much tolerance because I'm using it very intentionally and specifically. When I take a break, what happens? My hot flashes come back.
I see.
And then what do? I go back on my multi-cannabinoid tincture and my hot flashes go away. So I think I already knew, from my own checking in with myself that these were under control. So it was just the doctor like verifying what I already knew, which was with cannabis, I am dealing with menopause and perimenopause. Who knows where I am?
Menopause. I'm dealing with women issues, the whole thing. Yeah.
The middle essence, as our friend Kiona says, I am dealing with my middle essence years using cannabis, and it's been really great because I don't have the symptoms that other women report. So I'm a huge now advocate for, you have perimenopausal symptoms, try cannabis. Before you try any of these other things, try a little cannabis. You don't have to get high to try cannabis. You can use non-intoxicating cannabis.
Cannabinoids, yeah.
See what happens.
How, you may ask? Well, join us at Homemade Health and we will show you everything and more than you ever wanted to know. And you'll come back. You'll fall in love and come back. That's my experience and yours. And everybody's on this channel talking about. Okay, so you've described the experience. You've described problems that it's helped you with. And, I don't know if you want to talk about what you expected. I mean, what do you think a person expects coming into a class like this?
I think if you're very new to cannabis, it might feel overwhelming to think about a class like this because there is a lot, but I just want to reassure people that, one, Michelle is super patient and a very good educator. So you're going to be fine. But two, the way that the information is presented and the way that it's very methodical and that you can go back and watch the video again of the instructions, you can watch it 10 times if you need to. Mm-hmm. Like that makes it so that it's accessible to people, right? If you need it to slow down, if you need to back up and look at it, I just think don't be intimidated by the fact that it's a 10-week course. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And if you do feel overwhelmed, you just speak up because the community that you create is very supportive. And it's just people are lovely in it. And I think that starts with the intention that Michelle sets as she sets the container for our 10 weeks. And we're just all there to work together and learn together and share about what we're doing. And I just think sign up because you will love it.
Become a kitchen witch.
Become a kitchen witch.
Become a sorceress.
Yeah.
Like my friend Alex.
Yes.
She's a real sorceress. And so freaking proud of you. Oh my God. The magic. I haven't really talked about the magic, but we do have a lot of magic that goes on. It's magical. We have kitchen witching hours. You want to tell the people about kitchen witching hours?
Oh God, I love kitchen witching hour.
Yeah.
It's part of, I don't actually know what its current, how you currently offer it, but it is essentially, Michelle will announce a kitchen witching hour. And that means show up because she's going to be on Zoom in her kitchen making, and you can be in your kitchen making. And if you have any questions or you just want to chit chat, there's a whole channel of people open and we're all making medicine at the same time. And it's just fun. And it does help to troubleshoot, right?
Yes.
It's like, it's just such a great group. And so it's like usually a Sunday and we just hang out for an hour, 90 minutes, whatever. And we all get stuff done. And then we got to see our friends and maybe consume some cannabis while we're kitchen witching.
Yeah, I'm excited as I plan, see the merchandising that I'm wearing right now, but I have more plans for it to create some exciting like kitchen witch kind of t-shirts and some sorceress t-shirts, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm really proud of your accomplishments, all of you especially Alex and all the students, because this is not just a selfish endeavor, or even if it ever was, of course we're concerned about making medicine for ourselves, usually first and foremost, and serving our families and our loved ones. We've had people come into the class who want to do this for someone else, really, not really even themselves, which is amazing. And all of you, everybody who comes in and is a student of healing with cannabis or with plants in general, I think is just a light in your community, a beacon. And everything I can do to create more beacons and more communities is more healing. You know, don't you feel good about it? You've done a great job, and you should be proud of yourself of the beautiful healing that you've brought to yourself, your family, your community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Who should take it? Did you already answer? I feel like you
kind of did, but basically I think everybody
Yeah.
should take it. I mean, if you even have a glimmer of like, what is this cannabis thing? And maybe I need to explore this. This is a great way to explore it. It's a great way to explore it.
And if you want to go any further, these people will talk to you about it. I will too, you know?
Oh yeah.
We've got resources up the wazoo. You want to go to like full on school? Yeah, we got that. You know, you want to do this more, Miracle Makers is for you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't think if it, and then let's talk about economics.
Oh, economics is a huge part. And I can't believe we didn't talk about this, but I made a little bit of a reference to it when I talked about, you know, processing my own CBD and CBG because I can purchase those. But just even if, I mean, just the value alone of understanding that I can take a concentrate and essentially make anything is huge, because a concentrate, I'm going to speak in Washington state prices. I don't know what your prices are for where you are, but a concentrate here, a gram of concentrate is like $20. And with a gram of concentrate, I can make a topical that in the dispensary, that topical is going to be $60, $70,
Yeah, 60 or 80.
$75. I mean, I went down to California to see Michelle. I was shocked at some of the prices down there. Oh my goodness. So we aren't quite as high priced as that, but the economics, especially if you are a person doing this for a medicine, and we know that in our country, this is not covered by insurance, right? So we are footing the bill for this. It's huge. And so this past summer, I was able to make that transition and feel that actually it all came from being in homemade health. Like I felt like, oh, I can do this. I can grow and I can process this, right? Because you have this supportive community that you can ask questions of. But that putting the ability to create your own medicine in your own hands is huge. Even if you don't grow your own, just being able to buy flower and process the flower alone and do what you want to do with it is going to save you so much money. Because, and tinctures, oh my God, tinctures are so expensive compared to what I know that it takes to make them. And so I get it, there are taxes and they need to make a living and all of that. But if you're on, we're not billionaires, right? I mean, it's like, we do have to think about this. And because I take it medicinally, yes, I have a medical card in Washington state, but that doesn't lower my price that much, right?
Not enough.
So I need to make my own topical because it's much more cost effective for me to buy the concentrate and make the topical in the way that I learned to make it in homemade health, you know, than to go buy something that's pre-made. So I think the economics are just, if you want to save money, like you totally make your investment back. I mean, I know people are like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a lot of, okay, the price of the class is $1,555.
Yeah.
$135 a month if you're on the monthly plan, which that's what people have been buying, which I totally get it. You know what I mean? Stretch it out. I'm you know, no one here is trying to like, you know, gold dig anybody, but what you get from it is worthwhile, it's valuable, and you can use it forever. And let's talk about the machines for a minute, because people are like, oh, those machines, I don't know if I want to do that. And I'm like, well, you have time to think about it. But after watching everybody else use them and their results, I don't think that's all the convincing I think most people will need.
Yeah,
but you talk on it. Yeah.
Like if you like, so I had the Ardent, like I got the Ardent early on, right? I got that the first with tinctures, right? I got it when we were taking the tinctures course, and it's phenomenal and it's so easy to use, and I use it. You know, even though I'm now processing a lot of concentrates, I still use my Ardent.
Me too. I have 3 Ardents.
Concentrate. You know? If you are not aware of this, if you want a concentrate that is CBD and CBDA, for example, you need to decarb your CBD first. And so you use the Ardent to do this work, and it's so good about retaining cannabinoids and not losing them. If you stick it in the oven, you're going to lose so much. So you save money right there. I mean, I think I made my investment back on my Ardent within like the first 2 uses, honestly,
The
because
Ardent is yeah,
it's a
like I
no-brainer.
it's
Now,
not the harder, it's not the harder sell. I think the
right.
Source Turbo is the harder sell, which
Yeah.
is fine. It's fine, you
It's
know,
it's
like
it's a it's a jump up, but
yeah,
having a very close friend who elected not to purchase the Source Turbo, I think she did end up finally purchasing it because the way she was making concentrates would take so long, and I think and she wasn't able to reclaim her alcohol. And so
correct.
as you look at the Source Turbo and you think about investing in it, and it is an investment, no joke, it
Absolutely.
is an investment, but because you're able to reclaim so much of your alcohol and you're able to make your own concentrates like me, where I'm specifically making my ratios of
Yeah.
concentrates, you're going to make your investment back. So it's like, it's a no-brainer to me, that you would do this, because I can make concentrate. I mean, there's a whole process around it, but when I look at what it takes to make it without the Source Turbo, I don't have that kind of time or that kind of
Yeah.
money, because what am I doing? I'm evaporating the alcohol off if I am not using the Source Turbo, when the Source Turbo lets me reclaim that alcohol. So I'm reusing that ethanol, that
Again and
190
again.
proof, over and over. Now, do I lose a little bit? Yes, of course you do. But overall, I'm not having to repurchase that. Like, I've purchased alcohol one time and I'm still reusing.
I haven't repurchased alcohol for more than a year. I did buy 2 gallons and then a 5 gallon. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like hundreds of dollars, but I'm still on the 5 gallon, and I've given away a gallon. I've even given away a gallon to like a fellow Source Turbo user here in the Bay Area. So yeah, when you can reclaim your alcohol versus not using it, and then the process is safe, fast, fun, and easy in comparison. I mean, sure, let's just talk brass tacks. The Source Turbo is a $600 machine, and the accessories are another few $100s, and so none of that's cheap. And then you throw an Ardent FX on top of that, and sure, that's like $200. So like the equipment that I recommend for this class, and of course I have discounts on it. Don't think I don't. You know, of course I do. But like it can be, you know, close to a grand. But that money, you know, like I just shopped out some multi-cannabinoid you know, pills actually here in the Bay Area, and to use them for a month in the way that we use our 5 tincture canna kit, which has 3 multi-cannabinoid and two like single cannabinoid tinctures in it, was over $500 for a month's supply, right? So it adds up very fast. It's one or the other for you. You know what I mean? Like the economics of this are always going to play out into the favor of, if you can invest, then you'll reap the benefit. And if you can't invest, just try to stretch it out. You know, like.
And I want to add on, I haven't checked this lately, but the last time I looked at Extract Craft, they were also offering a payment plan through one of the people who do the payment plans.
Beautiful.
And so you could go in and do whichever one it is and pay it out in like 4 payments as well. And you don't need the Source Turbo.
Those anniversaries.
The other thing I want people to understand is they don't need the Source Turbo at the beginning of the course. You have time. And because honestly, if they can't, like, if you can't buy it the first time through the course, when you buy the course, you get it 3 times during the year. So you could do concentrates late in the year, right? Yeah. You could not buy your Source Turbo until the 3rd time the class is offered, you know, and go through it that way. Because in some ways that's kind of what I did, because
that is what
there were people using it already and I was intimidated. But then the next iteration of your course, it was like, okay, we're going to make concentrates. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy it. And I bought it, like I said. So, you know, as people are considering whether or not they're going to register, remember, you don't have to buy it all up front.
No.
You know,
and I think that's the beauty of the whole system. I honestly feel like especially it's so funny. Tell me if you agree with this. If you were totally new, but you were very open and you were just like, I don't care, I'm just going to do whatever these people say and I'm going to follow instructions. Like, for example, one of the other students' husband is now making the tinctures. Why? Because it's so easy. Come on. Mixing a concentrate with an oil, it's not that hard to do the one way with the concentrates. And so he has no education, no whatsoever. He's just following what she's doing visually, which is like preschool learning, you know, which is real and great. So I think that it's possible for you to be that kind of person. However, I've met a lot of cannabis people at this point in my career so far. And most of us are much more analytical than that and aren't willing to just go forward with this, just doing it. You know what I mean? So if you need that kind of support from a group, I mean, that's what we're trying to provide, because I've met the people in my group before and I know what they seem to need. So let's try to give it to them as much as possible, because we're here for success.
Yeah.
We want our success to be inevitable. Inevitable meaning even if you need to space it out because of budget, because who isn't on a budget these days? Our economy is a little bit downturned, and that is a big concern for everyone. Even if you don't have a lot of experience with cannabis, if you take it slowly and you just kind of be open, I think that this will totally work for you. Or if you're much more like the average person in my class and you're very cannabis experienced and you're very kind of curious and you're looking for something to up level the whole experience and expand your cannabis lifestyle into something that functions in more parts of your life than just maybe like the THC experience or just the CBD experience, then that's what is most people are like. Don't you agree, Alex?
I do, and I apologize for my alarm going off there. Hopefully it didn't record too much.
Right.
I do agree, and it's, yeah. I just believe this course is for everyone.
I agree. Like we would welcome you for sure.
Yes.
Yes,
We would welcome you.
Don't hold yourself back. If you're waiting for some kind of sign, Alex says it's for everyone. Come in. She'll be there.
She'll be there. You can ask me questions.
Yes.
You can message me. You can do whatever. I love it. I mean, I'm there with you. It's like I am there. I will be attending as a graduate who wants this to come out to everybody because it's changed my life so much. And so I want to see it change other people's lives. And I think everyone in our community feels that way. Those of us who, Miracle Makers Club, we are there for you guys. We want you to come in and join the community and be a part of this, because it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Amazing. It's not even new. These are skills that have been lost, I think, medicine making with these herbal, these sacred herbs that we're gifted with here on earth that help us so much. I don't think I could end it any better, Alex. I think you did a beautiful job. What do you think? Is there anything else left to tell the people? Join the class. The details are below. We're starting Feb 10th this round, but it's evergreen. You can join anytime and you'll get the online right away. Let me just go through all the details. You go through all the, you'll join right away. You can get on the online. It's always there for you. The live classes start February 10th. We go for 10 weeks. In those 10 weeks, you will make a canna pantry, which will enable you, like Alex, to make things at the drop of a hat. You will make a canna kit of tinctures, and you will make topicals, and then you will make concentrates. And you have a whole year to get through all of this. And by the time you're done, you'll just be completely stocked and you'll be practiced, and you'll be making, taking, and sharing with everybody. I love the stories where somebody wanted to help somebody else and was able to make something for them. But of course, helping yourself is number one. So your story is the best. All right, Alex, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go?
I hope to see you there in Homemade Health.
I hope to see you there too. Thank you so much for joining me and for being a testimonial for my class. And I hope that these words definitely reached you, the audience. If you wanted to hear this and you needed to be convinced and you need to know how to join us, click down below, meet me, meet Alex, join us. We'll see you later. Thanks, everyone. All right, bye. Say bye.